In 2022, a team at a university in Munich ran a quiet little experiment that nobody outside academic circles noticed. 60 people came in, took a short cognitive test, and were told to remember one specific task they'd need to come back to. Then they got a 10-minute break. Here's the twist. That break wasn't the same for everyone. Some people just sat there doing nothing. Some scrolled Twitter. Some watched a regular YouTube video. And one group opened TikTok. 10 minutes later, everyone came back and tried to complete that task they were told to remember. 3 groups did fine. One group didn't. The TikTok group's ability to remember what they were even supposed to be doing collapsed. Some of them weren't much better than random guessing, not a little worse, cratered. Now here's the part that should actually worry you. Researchers don't think it was because TikTok content is dumber than Twitter or YouTube. It's the format, the never-ending, no decision required auto-loading feed. That seems to be the problem. And if that's true, I want you to think about something for a second. What's the first screen most American kids under 5 spend serious hours in front of? It's shows like Cocomelon. Bright colors, a new visual event every couple of seconds, songs that never really finish before the next one starts. Pediatric speech therapists and occupational therapists have been raising flags about this for a few years now. Not because singing nursery rhymes is bad, but because that specific rhythm of nonstop novelty appears to make it harder for a developing brain to sit with anything slower. Parents describe their toddlers going glassy-eyed mid-episode, then having full meltdowns the second the screen turns off. That's not a tantrum about losing a toy. That's a brain that got dysregulated by the format itself. So here's what this video actually is. A toddler glued to a tablet and a college student who can't finish a paragraph without checking their phone are closer to the same story than you think. Today, I'm breaking down what brain rot really is, 3 mechanisms behind it that almost nobody explains correctly, and this is the part most videos skip, exactly what to do about it. There's a good chance that only about 15 to 16% of people will make it to the end of this video. Around 80 to 90% of people's attention spans have shrunk to that of a goldfish. Before this video begins, I want you to test your attention score. Answer the questions on your screen with either yes or no. Every yes is worth 1 point. Then type your final score in the comments. And if your score is between 1 and 3, you might as well leave this video right now. Let's get one thing straight. Brain rot isn't really about getting dumber. That's the meme version. The real version is narrower and honestly scarier because it's specific. What's actually declining is 3 things. Your ability to hold focus on one thing, your ability to resist switching to something else, and your working memory. Literally your brain's ability to hold on to what you were just doing. This isn't just internet talk anymore. Earlier this year, a review published in Psychological Bulletin, one of the American Psychological Association's own journals, pulled together 71 separate studies covering close to 100,000 people and found a consistent pattern. Heavier short-form video use tracked with weaker attention and weaker impulse control. Not in one study, across dozens of them, in different countries, different age groups. Here's what that looks like off a research paper and in your actual life. You sit down to study for an exam, and 11 minutes in, your thumb is already moving toward your phone before your brain even asked permission. You walk into the kitchen and completely forget why you're standing there. You start a movie with friends, and by minute 20, 3 people are quietly back on their phones, half watching. Teachers are reporting that reading a full chapter, not a paragraph, a full chapter, now feels like a genuinely hard task for a lot of students who used to read for fun. None of that is laziness. It's a trained reflex, and it didn't train itself. Back in 2011, psychologists ran a study that's become famous in cognitive science circles. They found that when people believe information will be easy to look up later, their brains barely bother encoding it in the first place. We remember where to find something instead of the thing itself. That's called the Google effect, or digital amnesia. Here's the upgrade nobody talks about. It used to just be facts, a phone number, a capital city. Now the thing you're outsourcing isn't information, it's decisions. What to watch next, what to think about next, what's interesting. An algorithm has been making thousands of tiny choices for you every single day so consistently that the actual muscle of deciding for yourself has gotten weaker. That's a much bigger loss than forgetting trivia. Your brain evolved in a world where new things were rare. A new person in the village, a new sound in the grass. Novelty used to mean this might matter for staying alive. So your brain built a small reward for noticing it, a tiny dopamine ping that says, pay attention, this is new. That circuit was built for a world with maybe a handful of genuinely new stimuli per day. You now get a new stimulus every 1 to 2 seconds, engineered by teams of extremely well-paid people whose entire job is making sure it keeps registering as new. Your ancient alarm system is going off constantly over content that has zero survival relevance. It's not that evolution failed you, it's that the environment changed 1,000 times faster than your brain could. And this is the one that explains why it feels so hard to stop. Every major app, different companies technically competing with each other, has converged on the exact same mechanic, the unpredictable reward. Psychologists have known since the 1950s that unpredictable rewards are far more addictive than guaranteed ones. It's the same principle behind a slot machine. You don't get hooked because you win every time. You get hooked because you might win this time. Every swipe on your feed is a pull on that lever. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's the funniest thing you've seen all week. You never know which, so you keep pulling. That unpredictability isn't a side effect of the design. It is the design. Here's the part where I don't tell you to delete every app and move to a cabin. That doesn't work, and you know it doesn't work. What actually works is retraining the specific muscles that got weak, on purpose, a little at a time. Do boredom reps. Next time you're in line or waiting for water to boil, don't reach for your phone. Just stand there. It'll feel uncomfortable for about 90 seconds. That discomfort is literally your attention span rebuilding tolerance for low stimulation. Do it daily, and it gets easier fast. Add friction on purpose. Move the apps off your home screen. Log out after every session so you have to type your password back in. You're not banning yourself from anything. You're just removing the autopilot reach. So every open becomes a decision you actually make instead of a reflex. Replace. Don't just remove. Swap one scroll session a day for 10 minutes of something with an actual ending. A physical book chapter, one long-form article. 10 minutes, not an hour. Small enough that you'll actually do it, and it directly rebuilds sustained focus. Protect your first and last hour. No feed for the first hour after you wake up and the last hour before you sleep. Those are the two windows where your brain is most impressionable, and they're getting hijacked first and last every single day. Choose instead of scroll. When you do want to watch something, search for it or pick from people you subscribe to instead of opening the algorithmic feed. It's a small thing, but it puts the decision back in your hands, which, remember, is the exact muscle the Google effect quietly weakens. None of this requires willpower you don't have. It just requires giving your brain small, repeated reasons to remember that it's still allowed to choose. That kid glued to cocomelon and the 20-year-old who can't sit through a lecture aren't two separate problems. They're the same trap running at different speeds. So here's the one thing I actually want you to do today. Not subscribe, not comment. Just notice one time when your thumb moves toward your phone before you decided to pick it up. That gap between the reflex and the choice, that's exactly where you get your brain back.